Hi, welcome back to K Sports Sunday. I'm Alex Barth, joined by Little Max, Big Max, Dylan, and Jason. You guys getting sick of those nicknames yet?
A little bit.
All right, so today the Red Sox finished their series with Texas. They lost 3 games. The pitching gave up a combined 8 home runs in those 3 games. The Red Sox have started off 0-3, and while the hitting has been there, it's not been what we expected, and the pitching has been dismal. Guys, is it time to be concerned, or is this just a slow start?
Oh yes, it is time to be concerned. I know everyone is saying, oh, it's an 0-3 start, just the first 3 games. You know, it's all right. They'll turn it around. During this entire offseason, when everyone was celebrating about how the Red Sox are going to win 120 games and are going to easily win the World Series, I was not confident at all. In fact, I don't even have the Red Sox making the playoffs. They have one of the best offenses in all of the major leagues. Look at how great their offense is. But too bad. They had one of the best offenses in the major leagues last year and didn't make the playoffs.
Injuries.
They did not do anything to improve their pitching staff. Their pitching staff, horrible. John Lester is great. Clay Buchholz, you know, he was great last year. Probably won't be as good this year. Will probably drop down a little bit. Beckett, bad. Lackey, bad. Dice-K, bad. Just look at them. They have no pitching after the first guy.
That's a compliment for Dice-K.
They shouldn't be able to win many games this year. I don't see how anyone can be confident in this team. If they score 5 runs a game, the pitching will give up 7 runs a game. The pitching is bad. Papelbon at the end of the game is probably going to blow as many saves as you can count on your hand or more. I have no confidence in this team whatsoever.
I got a question for you, Max. Actually, a couple questions. How many games are in an MLB season?
162.
How many games have been played so far by the Red Sox?
That would be 3.
Okay. Do you think that it's a little bit premature to be making full season analysis, playoff predictions after 3? Let me do my little math right here. After about 2% of the season is gone?
No, I don't actually, because if you look at these pitchers and how their entire careers have gone, Beckett's had a couple good years, but he's been terrible lately, and he hasn't been the same. Lackey's never been a great pitcher, except when he led the league in ERA a few years ago. Dice-K, never been very good. Buchholz has had 1 good year, not really proven. The only proven pitcher who you can really rely on this year is John Lester. Also, the end of the game with Papelbon, every year his stats have gotten a little bit worse, and there's nothing to show that he's going to turn it around. I don't see how you can be confident in this pitching staff and just say, oh, now that they acquired some hitters, the pitching staff is going to turn it around too. I think it's very easy to make a whole season analysis and just predict the future and say, what gives you any faith that these guys are going to turn it around?
I look at the game today, and throughout the first 3 games in Lackey, Buchholz, and Lester, who pitched the best? Buchholz by far. He gave up 4 runs. There were 4 solo home runs, which is a little rough. But
exactly.
The other 2, Lackey and Lester, they got torched. They were out of there in just a couple innings. They got torched. Buchholz put together a pretty solid game today. He had a great season last year. And let's look at the whole entire MLB as a whole. Not many teams have 3 or 4 solid go-to pitchers. They have 1 or maybe even 2.
I don't think the Red Sox do either. I think they have 1 solid go-to pitcher.
1 solid? You're going to tell me that Clay Buchholz coming off a near Cy Young season? He had a good game today. He got the loss. He has that L.
4 solo home runs? You call that a good game?
In 7 games when you have in 7 innings when you have the most high-powered offense or predicted high-power offense in the MLB. That usually is going to be enough to win a game.
If you're calling 4 home runs a good game, then I don't know what a good game is anymore.
Don't look at it as home runs. Look at it as runs.
Okay, 4 runs.
You give
that's
up
still
4 runs.
You're saying that's a great game for a pitcher?
I'm saying that's a solid first outing. And with a team like the Red Sox, which everyone knows, the Red Sox they did not focus on pitching this offseason. They focused on bringing in Egon, bringing in Carl Crawford, keeping that core together. If their pitchers could go 7 innings and give up 4 runs every single night of the week, this is going to be a winning ball club.
Look at the guy who pitched for Texas today. Went 7 innings, gave up 1 run. That's a solid outing. Buchholz did not have a solid outing today. And besides 1 great year, which doesn't prove yourself in the major leagues.
The final score was 5-1. If the Red Sox could average 5 runs against this season, every game 5 runs against, are they going to win the majority of their games?
You're going to count on this offense to score 5 runs a game? That's absurd.
I am.
That's absurd.
I am.
The offense is great, but they're not that great. They're not the greatest offense of all time.
A lot of people are saying that they're up there with them.
Yeah, they might be, but
spoken like a true Bostonian. Dylan, Jason, you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, the offense, they're just getting off to a slow start. With Gonzalez and Crawford coming in just in the offseason, Ellsbury, Pedroia injured. For the pitchers, it's panic time. They did nothing for their pitchers this offseason. They're not good. They need to They need to make some trades for their pitching staff.
It's a whole different story when you're winning, though. If the Red Sox had significant leads, you don't see the pitchers that we've seen. You see the starter go a couple innings, then you see Daniel Bard, who we did see, unfortunately, Friday night, and he just completely blew it. You have Bard coming in, then you have Papelbon. That's a whole different cycle that you're going through, rather than what we've seen with Tim Wakefield and Reyes and all these nobody
Because the starters can't get into late innings.
Because the hitters and the starters have been on opposite tiers so far. The first 2 games, it was all the pitching's fault. Today, the offense gave no production. You put it together, you can't look at it this way, but if you switch the runs game per game, and you take the Red Sox first game and you put it here and all of that, they would have won one of these games. But the thing is, it's all about the offense. When the offense is playing well, when pitchers have that support, that run support, maybe after the first inning they have a lead, maybe after a couple innings they have a 1 or 2 run lead or even a significant lead, it plays all mentally, and the pitchers are going to be able to put it together with this offense.
Looking at the offense a little more, guys, breaking it down a little bit, what's more surprising you? The fact it took till today for Carl Crawford to get his first hit, and his early struggles is that David Ortiz has already hit 2 home runs.
I'm going to let you guys go first. I need time to think about this question.
I think it's more surprising that Carl Crawford is just getting his first hit today. You know, David Ortiz, there was a lot of prediction that he had a great spring training, that he was really going to turn it around and focus on early in the season, which he hasn't been doing lately. But most people expected Carl Crawford to come out of the gate really quick and be the MVP of the team within the first 3 games, and that really hasn't happened at all. So I think that's a little bit of a surprise to most Bostonians.
I think it's more important for the Boston club that David Ortiz has started off hot.
I would say true. I agree.
He's been a player that, come April, possibly the worst player in the Red Sox uniform in the past couple of years. He has had terrible starts to seasons. And when you look at it, I'm not concerned. I'm a Red Sox fan, and I am not concerned at all at this point.
You are the only person who's a Red Sox fan who can say they're not concerned about anything.
But I think a lot of people are ignorant in that fact. I think a lot of people like to say 0-3. You keep this up all year. We're 0-100. No, come on. It's 3 games. If they got swept later in the season by the Texas Rangers, which are a solid team, it would be a normal hiccup in the season. It's just about where it is. It's scaring people, but when you look at this team, the players who need to be playing in Agon and Ortiz offensively, they're putting it together. Even Ellsbury, he's been getting on base, stealing bases. He even hit a home run yesterday. When you put this offense together, once everything starts to click, they're going to be able to do it. It's going to instill confidence in the pitchers. And when they put it all together, I still think that they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the American League, in the MLB, in all of baseball. I think they're going to be fine. A lot of season to be played.
Okay, so guys, to finish this segment out, after seeing the Red Sox start 0-3, seeing the way they played, is it panic time, or are we not even going to remember this at the end of the season?
No, again, I think it's completely panic time. I mean, but what you were saying, you said if the hitting can, produce 6 runs or 5 runs a game like they're supposed to, then the pitching staff will be fine. But you cannot rely on an offense to produce 5 or 6 runs a game. What if you're playing the Phillies in the World Series? Are you really going to predict these guys to get 5 runs a game off Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Roy Oswalt, and Cole Hamels? That's absurd. It's impossible. And the pitching staff for this team isn't good. They're going to let up at least 5 runs a game at the minimum. It doesn't make sense how you can make that reliability against a team as good as the Rangers, the Phillies, or any other team with a little bit of pitching.
Way, way too early to hit that panic button. If you are a true Boston Red Sox fan and you've looked at them, way too early to make 3 games in to make an analysis for the whole entire season.
Definitely wait till. I mean, it's the first game of the first 3 games of the season so far, which will mean nothing by the end of the season, and it's against Texas, who was in the World Series last year. I mean, it definitely is not time to hit the panic button. And as you said before, all these pitching staffs are going to do bad, really.
Bad.
Every pitcher has a bad game in the season. It's just this time. It happens to be the first game of the season. You definitely can't hit the panic button yet.
Well, I'm not even a Red Sox fan. I'm a Mets fan. They're 2-1. Just saying that.
There you go, Jason. Good answer. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of K Sports Sunday. But make sure you still watch the Sports Challenge, the sports trivia game we do at the end of every show. But as for us right here, for Alex Barth, Max Block, Max Kleiman, I gave you your real names right there. Dylan, Jason, producer Eric Clemens, Jimmy Young, everybody in the control room, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. Here's the Sports Challenge.